fellow Toastmasters, our welcome guest, Eric. Ralph Smedley, VIP. If you're a Toastmaster long enough, the name Ralph Smedley probably means something to you, right?
Yeah.
He was the founder of Toastmasters. He was truly a very important person when it comes to our organizations and the impact that he's had on the world. So when I say VIP, it's not just very important person. It stands for some qualities that he has. First, he was a visionary. Second, he had an impact on individuals and on the world. And third, he was persistent. Now, why he created Toastmasters, I'm not really sure. Everything I've read about him really doesn't say. There was no catalyst that caused him to go out and start a Toastmasters club. But at a young age, out of college, he took a job with the YMCA, and one of the first things he did was create a Toastmasters club to help build confidence in the young men that were members of the organization. And it worked. He found that the club fostered confidence, speaking abilities, and the name Toastmasters doesn't have an auspicious beginning. He named the club Toastmasters because, much like our room here, it was a banquet setting and there was always a Toastmaster at a banquet. So the club became Toastmasters. Now, the impact that he had is far-reaching. We talk about confidence. If you look around anybody that speaks, if you see somebody that speaks with confidence, you'll believe it. You'll buy anything. And that was his message. The purpose that he developed through Toastmasters was to educate. Educate us on speaking skills and to educate us on leadership. Leadership actually evolved. First it was just about speaking and building confidence. But he recognized that being an effective speaker was part of the leadership skills that people needed if they were creating an organization or developing a cause. And the clubs became a culture of collaboration. Think about our club. We all collaborate through all of the different positions that we take up every Friday morning. We speak, we evaluate, we give feedback. It was a cultural collaboration. One of his immediate goals I thought was kind of interesting, and that was to get the person, after doing their first speech, to come back for the next one. Oftentimes somebody would deliver a speech and they wouldn't show up again. We had members in this club that had to be coerced to coming back and joining and getting involved in the Toastmasters manual. But he also recognized that you had to coach them. You had to evaluate. You had to give constructive feedback so that it wouldn't be more of the same day in and day out. So once you got past that, it became a laboratory for learning. Think about our own club. I've heard many times different individuals give a speech that they're developing for their own purpose. Lois, when you were running for office. David, when you were doing a presentation for social media. Marilyn, when you're presenting and preparing some of your intellectual property for the programs that you develop. That's what we're here for. We're here to test drive some of that. It's a great place to test drive, maybe fail, have a few glitches in the road, but also to learn and grow and to develop whatever skills that you came here for. A friend of mine a long time ago said that Toastmasters is a selfish club. We all come here for our own reasons, and once we've achieved them, we go. When you think about the impact that Smedley had around the world, Lee Iacocca comes to mind. He wrote in his book about Toastmasters being very important in his career. And I think most everybody in this room is old enough, except for a couple, to remember Lee Iacocca and what he did with Chrysler. He was able to turn that company around. How did he do it? Well, he had to go to the government and sit in front of a panel of senators and convince them that it was important enough to help Chrysler get back on its feet. The leadership skills, the presentation skills that he learned right here in a club just like this are what helped him to become who he was and to do what he did. The fear of public speaking. We all hear about it. Statistics say that 3 out of 4 people are more frightened of getting up in front of a group like I'm doing right now, and my knees are knocking, than they are about dying. I think Seinfeld put it probably the best. He says, well, if that's true, then at a funeral, there's more people that would rather be in the casket than delivering the eulogy. Only Seinfeld. But so true. People are scared. And Smedley recognized that. That's why he built an organization that was helpful and supportive in everything that he did. Now, he had probably some critics throughout time. There were a lot of people that thought Toastmasters was his own peculiarity. It's kind of an oddity. His own thing, for lack of a better term. And he had to overcome a lot of that. And if you think about it, a lot of our friends think, Toastmasters, why would you go to that? What is that good for? Maybe even some of your own family members saying, oh, those Toastmasters are weird. They go up there and talk and they do all this strange stuff. But he persisted because he knew through his vision and the impact that the clubs would have on people. Matter of fact, persistence is the last quality that sets him apart from all others. The vision that he had starting a club, the impact that he knew, the confidence that speaking would bring. But how long did it take him to really achieve his goal? 20 years. His first club was in 1903. And he discovered a pattern. It wasn't one that he wanted. He would start a club, he would build it up, it would be great, and then he'd move on to another job and start another club. And it was even a little bit better. He had a club with 70 members. If we had a club with 70 members, we'd never be able to speak. But he also saw that after he left, the clubs withered and died. They didn't sustain themselves. It took him 20 years to get the formula right, between developing manuals like the basic manual and the advanced manuals, setting up a structure of officers within the club, having an area governor, a district governor, an international organization, competitions, all of the things that maintained clubs. And they stayed, and they developed, and they flourished, and he didn't have to worry about them dying. Some come and some go. I joined this club at the Quadrangle in Coral Springs, if anybody remembers the Quadrangle, sure. Many, many years ago. It was here before I got in the club, and it's still here today. So obviously it's had an impact on me and everybody that's within the club. They meet all over the world. They meet in an ice cave in Antarctica. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. You got it. But the important thing is that today's organization is much like it was back then. Our structure, we speak, we're evaluated, we grow, we develop confidence. Ralph Smedley was truly a very important person in Toastmasters because of his qualities, the vision, the impact, and his persistence. We have the club that we have today. Mr. Toastmaster.